Time on Fox. I'm Tom Kelly. My broadcast partner is Rich Marotta. And yes, indeed, that was a half track you saw. They're good of you to recognize that. And of course, that WWI helmet. But the half track was from WWII, and don't try to drive it away.
No, I won't.
Because I'm the only guy you know who knows how to handle
sure
one of
you
those.
are.
But we digress. How about our main event tonight? A classic matchup, Rich. An older guy who's been there and a young guy who wants to be.
Well, it's that kind of matchup as old as boxing itself. You've got youth versus experience. Of course, in Simon Brown, you got a former great champion, the scourge of the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions in the late 80s and through the first half of the 90s. A guy who's been to the mountaintop, wants to get back there again, trying to hang on, thinks maybe he's got one more chance, but he's going up against a guy who hasn't been there and who wants to get to where Simon Brown has been.
All right, how about Simon Brown? Not once, not twice, but 3 times a world champion. At 34, maybe age has become an important factor.
Well, I think it has to be considered a factor. I think Simon is slowing down some. And the situation here, of course, as you look at that great record of his, is that this is a man who knows how to box. This is a man who knows how to fight. He's not only clever, but he has tremendous punching power. He's always had that. So even if he is slowing down some, he's still got that great power in both those hands. And if he has enough and can get by this fight tonight, it's a good opportunity that Simon Brown is going to fight for a world title one more time.
Well, standing in his way is a kid who wants to be where Brown has been, Ruben Bell, who's really almost a tragic figure. Perhaps boxing's finally going to straighten his life out.
Well, hopefully that's the case. He's got a fine record. You certainly can't argue with that. There you take a look at it, 13-1. His only loss is to a former world champion, Paul Vaden, and that was by a majority decision. Now, the interesting thing about Ruben Bell is the fact that he had to stay out of boxing 2 years because he was arrested on a murder charge. He was kept in jail. He finally came to court, came to trial, and was acquitted of the charges. So he's gotten back into boxing, had one tune-up fight, won that, but now he steps way up in class here this evening against Simon Brown.
He does indeed, and of course, this is obviously an important fight for both of these men.
Yeah.
Our opening bout tonight is an interesting one. We've got a couple of middleweights, one all the way from England, making his first start here, Robert McCracken. He's undefeated.
Yeah, he's 29-0. He's the British Commonwealth champion. Story with McCracken, though, despite his record, he was very well protected over there. His opposition wasn't very good, and he felt so far as the world picture was concerned, he wasn't getting anywhere. So he left England, he came over here, signed with America Presents, and is hopeful that'll get him a world title opportunity.
Well, he's in against a guy, Joe Stevenson, who's anxious to get into the ring, apparently. Didn't you tell me he fought just a week ago?
Yeah, this guy's real interesting. He's a young kid, a real hustler in the ring. He'll fight anywhere, anytime, and to illustrate the point, he fought just 6 nights ago, and he scored a second-round KO over Benny Rosales, and here he is once again.
Fight Time on Fox has got a great program for you. Thanks for joining us. To introduce the fighters in this opening bout, here's ring announcer Thomas Treiber.
Maryland, America Presents, and the undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proudly present to you professional boxing action, which means it's fight time on Fox. Let's get the action started. We have for you, first of all, 10 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division, and the judges assigned are Gary Campaneschi, Kenny Chevalier, and Jody Wingfield. When the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action will be Bill Holmes. Introducing to you first, fighting to my left out of the red corner, he's wearing the green, orange, and white trunks and weighed in at 160½ pounds. Hailing from East Lansing, Michigan, he has a professional record of 14 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Irish Elvis Stevenson. And his opponent, fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. He's wearing the blue trunks with white trim and weighed in at 158 pounds. Hailing from Birmingham, England, he has an unblemished record of 29 wins, no losses, with 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robert McCracken. Once again, your referee in charge, Bill Holmes, now to give the instructions.
Instructions in the dressing room: protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands, touch them up.
All right, the tail of the tape, McCracken is 6 feet ½ inch, and Stevenson is a couple of inches shorter than that. 158 to 160½. Stevenson is 2 years younger, and in the reach department, he's got an inch disadvantage. Winner of the round gets 10 points, 3 knockdown rule in effect. No standing 8 count, saved by the bell in the last round only. Referee or doctor can stop the fight, and this is a headbutt They'll go to the cards after the first round is completed. Scheduled for 10, they're middleweights. There's the bell, and out they come. Well, this is a kind of a classic confrontation between an Irishman and a Briton, a Brit. So I'm sure that as they look at one another, they will fancy neither one likes each other too much.
Well, as we take a look, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Stevenson is the guy who brings the fight to McCracken. Stevenson is mostly a club fighter. You'd have to give him that. And he's an aggressive guy. The bout that we mentioned, in which he fought last week, in which he won by knockout, broke a 3-fight losing streak for him, so he's feeling good about himself. McCracken, however, appears to be world class. He is ranked 3rd by the WBC and 4th by the IBF, and certainly those rankings would indicate he's world class. He has not fought over here in the United States, however, and he feels he's going to have to make his mark here in order to do that. His last fight, it's been a while. He has not fought since November of '96, a 10-round decision over Glenn O'Dern, who himself is a club fighter. So he's going to have to step up his competition and prove he can do it.
Well, he has a handsome record, 29-0, which would rank him rather up there in all of the alphabet soup of boxing. But the rap against him is he's not always fought quality opponents, and he always hasn't been that dedicated. Landed a pretty good right hand a moment ago, and it kind of jarred Stevenson.
Yeah, I like the way he threw it too, Tom. It was a good, crisp right hand. He threw it right from the shoulder. It was thrown with very good speed, a lot of quickness, and it had a little oomph to it. Now, McCracken is not known as a puncher, but we'll have to see that for ourselves here. Stevenson, 2 fights ago, took on Donnie Lalonde, the former light heavyweight champion, and lost that fight. He was TKO'd in 7 rounds. Lalonde aging certainly at this point, but he's one of those guys who still maintains a punch, if nothing else, and he was too much for Stevenson.
Yeah, Lalonde is 36, but he managed to handle the young guy out of Flint, Michigan, or East Lansing. This is round 1. It's scheduled for 10, this middleweight battle.
Stevenson has a twin brother. Oh, man.
He got hit right in the liver, and boy, he is in pain. And I don't think he's going to get back up. It's over. He took 1 shot to the liver, and that was that. And he is in real pain.
The crowd is booing, but people don't understand what the pain that a punch like that can bring. That was a real body shot. Right down he went. 1 shot, you're right to the liver. And he's angry with himself now. Stevenson takes his mouthpiece and flings it halfway across the ring, but that was a tremendous body punch, and that was all she wrote.
Well, I tell you, there's probably no more paralyzing blow in boxing, one if you get hit on time right on the point of the chin, than it is to get hit right at the liver. It is just excruciating if they nail you just right, and you just can't hardly move, and the pain is just almost beyond belief. So McCracken opens up his American campaign, so to speak, with a first-round KO over Stevenson. How difficult Stevenson is or was remains to be seen, but here's another look at the left hand to the body.
Well, it's going to be a perfect shot. He sets it up with the jab and leans in, and he got it just underneath the guard. Now watch him, he just sinks. A delayed reaction to that punch. Delayed reaction, that's how it was. He set it up with the jab. Here's the jab. Not yet. But you watch, McCracken will throw it. He does have a very fine jab. We didn't get to tell you all we wanted to about McCracken. But then he got that just underneath the guard. There's the delayed reaction, and that was all she wrote. Very, very painful, and you can see the pain on his face.
So there it is again. Down went Stevenson, very close to the end of round number 1, but round number 1 never did get into the book. So the record of Robert McCracken goes to 30-0 now and 19 knockouts. Very impressive. And I would imagine, Rich, you'll be going up to talk to McCracken, will you not?
I believe so.
Yes, fine. Let's get the official time, and let's go to Thomas Triber. He'll tell us what it was in round number 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time, 2 minutes, 12 seconds of round number 1. Referee in charge, Bill Holmes, reaches the count of 10 with your winner by way of knockout, Robert McCracken.
Robert McCracken from Birmingham, England, makes his first appearance in the United States. A very impressive one, a first-round knockout over Joe Stevenson, a paralyzing blow to the liver, and Stevenson could continue no more. We'll be back with